Okay, let's talk about a situation where you are in a match against someone who is clearly a better tennis player than you are. And you might define that as someone that if you played them 10 times, you might be able to win one out of those 10 times. And the key here is to find a way to be able to play at your very top skill level in that match. And one of the big, huge mistakes that we make is we try to force ourselves to play better against a better player. And really, what I want to try to explain here is, a way for you to take a different approach, a different mental approach as to how to compete against better players. The first thing I want to do is kind of explain, the reality of our skill level range. And on any given day, we've got, let's, I'll take your top level, for example. You've got a top level, whatever that is in your skill level range, where on some days you can play, at this level almost all, if not most of that match. On other days, you can find a way to play at your lower skill level for, a host of reasons. But on average, you've kind of got a normal skill level. But on average, you sort of have an average, sort of a normal skill level, as every tennis player does. So really, if you look at the three green lines here, your top level, your normal level, and your lower level, when we play a match, we really sort of play throughout that match somewhere from our top to our normal to our lower, and really right here in the middle is probably, if you were to be able to chart each and every point that you played, I think what you'd find is the chart would show that you're most of the time playing in this normal skill level right here. And so the key really is to find a way to try to raise your game on that particular day against a better player up to your top level. And if you look at the chart I've got here, we've got your opponent's top skill level as above yours, and we've got your opponent's normal skill level as maybe slightly just a hair below what your top level is. Obviously, their normal level is better than your lower level, and your lower level is going to be the same as the top levels. It's going to be lower than your opponent's lower skill level. So what I have found, and I've played a number of matches against really tough opponents, and the mistake I have made is I've tried to force myself to play better, and it has never worked. I've never ever been able to raise my game up to my top skill level by forcing myself, saying, I've got to play better today. I've got to find a way to hit my serve better. I've got to find a way to hit all my strokes better. If I want to reach this level and hopefully be able to compete against this opponent today, I have got to force myself to do it. And the lesson I learned from playing a couple of top players in the country is that if I will relax and do what I've got here at number 2, which is really, I can allow my opponent to sort of bring me up to their level, to kind of draw me up to the level if I don't fight it, if I don't kind of force it. And the first time this happened to me, I just couldn't believe how much fun this was. I was really allowing my opponent's skill level, their level between their top level and their normal level, it really kind of drew me up naturally to my top skill level. And you can do this if you don't force it, if you don't try to make it happen, if you allow your opponent's level of play to kind of draw you up where you're just sort of a part of it. It can be a reality, and you can play better. You can really get yourself up to your top skill level. The other thing that is a reality is number 3 here is your opponent is going to have some hot streaks. The chances of them playing well for 4, 5, 6, maybe 4, 5, 6 points, maybe a couple of games, 2 or 3 games, is a reality. And the thing that you don't want to do is panic and think, I've got to change my game, I've got to play better. You just simply have to wait out that storm. And sometimes it's as simple as taking a few extra seconds between points, just some more breathing or whatever it is. It could be that when your opponent's going through your hot streak, they're looking over at you hoping that this is affecting you in a negative way, that you're going to panic. And if you show that there is no panic going on, that you're simply going to allow it to happen, that you're going to simply wait out the storm, you'd be surprised as to how quickly that storm can end. And then point number 4 here is to really make sure that you take your full 25 seconds between points. And the way you do that is you get into a specific between points routine. For me, it's simply I try to not have any emotional reaction, either a positive or negative on the point that I just played. I really try to stay even keel. I also try to make sure I take 2 or 3, maybe 4 very deep controlled breaths to try to get my wind back if I need to. Number 3, if there's any specific strategy that I might want to use on this next point, maybe I'm serving and I'm saying, maybe it's now time to serve out wide. I'm going to think about that, but I'm not going to, force myself to think, hey, you have to win this point. If you don't win this point, you got a problem. I'm just going to think about process at that point. And then the 4th thing I'm going to do is just give myself a little, kind of pat in the back and say, all right, here we go. And then the other key to this is to make sure that between points or as you're about to hit a shot that you really visualize seeing yourself playing at your top level. It's so easy to kind of panic a little bit and to kind of see yourself not playing well, maybe missing a second serve, maybe missing a passing shot. Whatever it is, you've got to practice this concept of being able to visualize yourself playing, shots, playing serves, whatever it is, at your very top level, and expect to do so. And if it doesn't happen on that particular shot, that's reality. It's not going to happen each and every time. But I want you to have a visual, positive picture in your mind of what you're about to do. So I hope this has helped. Any questions, feel free to send me an email, brent@webtennis.net. Thanks very much.